I'm here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Alexander, Devon Nunes is on the warpath. He's going after Schiff now, and this is good news because it's about time that the Republicans started going after Schiff.
Yes.
Let's hope that Nunes gets some support from his colleagues and that they really do go after Schiff.
Yes.
I don't know how much they can do at this moment in time, given that the rules are so one-sided and absolutely absurd the way they've been structured. But I think it's a good sign as we lead up to what may be a Senate hearing, as this thing unfolds, as this absurd, ridiculous inquiry, impeachment hoax unfolds. But let me read you the title, Alexander, from Zero Edge, and you can get into the story.
Yeah.
Nunes demands Schiff testimony after lying. Also wants gossip blower and Hunter Biden to appear. Alexander, what do you make of what's going on here?
Well, as you rightly say, we're now seeing the start of the Republican counterattack. Now, Nunes is calling for Schiff to give evidence. The reason he says that Schiff should give evidence is that though Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, is the Inquisitor General who is running this impeachment inquiry, or so-called inquiry, he is also, according to Nunes, and in my opinion, a material witness, because you will see a reference to an individual called the gossip monger. The gossip monger is this person who we are told should be referred to as the whistleblower. This is the person who complained originally about the fact that Donald Trump had said various inappropriate or allegedly inappropriate things to Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, in a telephone conversation they had with each other on the 25th of July. And this was the complaint which supposedly started this whole impeachment investigation. Now, we actually have the record or transcript of that conversation because Donald Trump, to everybody's astonishment, declassified and produced it. And we've had another announcement just today that Donald Trump is now going to declassify and publish the transcript of an earlier conversation he had with Zelensky shortly after Zelensky was elected president of Ukraine. The reason Trump is doing that, by the way, is because there's been some attempt by some people in the media and the Democrats to say that the reason there is no reference to a quid pro quo, we'll get into what that means, this story that, Trump pressured Zelensky to open a investigation into Joe and Hunter Biden in return for a sales of military equipment to Ukraine, which are at that point being held up. The reason there's no reference to that quid pro quo in this telephone call of the 25th of July between Zelensky and Trump is because the quid pro quo was allegedly discussed in this previous conversation. The fact that Donald Trump is now deciding to publish the transcript of that conversation is intended to scotch that particular theory. Anyway, coming back to Adam Schiff, what is now clear is that he and his staff had contacts with this person who Zero Hedge and Sarah Carter and more people are calling the gossip monger, but who officially is still being called the whistleblower, who leaked the details of this call using the whistleblower protections, even though he didn't listen into it and had no direct knowledge of it. It seems he may not even have participated. He might not even have been working in the White House at the time when that call took place. So Schiff apparently was in contact or in communication through his staff with this person. Schiff says they never actually spoke or met. And Nunes argues, and I think he's right, that makes Schiff a material witness into how all this began. All the more so since Schiff, as Nunes points out, actually lied about the fact that he and his staff had been in communication with this gossip monger, whistleblower person. Initially, he denied it. Subsequently, he admitted it. I'm going to go a lot further, and I'm going to say that almost certainly we will one day eventually find that that whole complaint about that conversation was orchestrated, and that the moment I read it, and you can go all the way back to our early videos on Ukrainegate, I said this is Adam Schiff's fingerprints all over it. I mean, it's obvious to me, but that's my opinion anyway. So that's what Schiff is doing. Now, that's what Nunes is doing. He wants to bring in Schiff. He also wants to bring in other people. And of course, one other person he wants to interview is Hunter Biden, who is, of course, very much at the center of this story. And no doubt he will want to interview more people also. But, and this is the point you made, it's most unlikely that Nunes will be able to subpoena these people, because the rules that Nancy Pelosi has constructed for this so-called impeachment say that the only people who can be subpoenaed before these committees and who can be questioned there are those whose subpoenas have been approved by the House chairman, by the committee chairman who are conducting this impeachment investigation. That's Adam Schiff and the others. So Adam Schiff is not going to approve a subpoena on himself. We're not going to see subpoenas on Hunter Biden also.
Yeah, but Nunes is just basically signaling to the Republicans in the Senate that if it gets to the Senate,
yes,
you know, these are the people that they're going to bring in. And he's kind of letting Schiff and Hunter Biden and that other dude that we can't name, you know, he's letting them know that if this proceeds any further, you guys are going to get dragged in front of the Senate, most likely in public, and you're going to be called out for the liars that you are. And there's no doubt that Schiff is lying. He cooked this whole thing up. There's no doubt about it. I think he cooked it up. I think Pelosi went with Nadler first because she didn't want to let the Russiagate thing die out after Mueller made an absolute ass of himself.
Yes.
And then she bet on Nadler for a little bit. Nadler imploded very quickly. I mean, he was just a disaster.
Yes.
Corey Lewandowski.
That's right.
Made a fool of him. And then
Robert Mueller as well, remember? I mean, the Mueller...
Yeah, she saw Mueller first, so Mueller bombed, and Russiagate died, and then she went to Nadler, and then she had to bet on Schiff, and Schiff had this all cooked up. So there's no doubt he's lying there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so my question is kind of two parts in a way. Is Pelosi that stupid?
No,
is she that stupid to let this get to the Senate, knowing full well that the Senate is going to absolutely demolish them? I mean, is she that infected with the Trump derangement syndrome virus? Or is this, and this is a theory, maybe Pelosi drags this out all the way till, you know, November 2020, or as much as she can. I don't know how far. I don't know how much she can. Yeah, you're a lawyer. I don't know how much she can drag this, but she drags it out as much as she can to do as much damage to Trump in her mind, and then they don't go for impeachment because they know it's going to get to the Senate, and Nunes is signaling that if this gets to the Senate, Alexander, we're going to call all these people in, and it is going to be an absolute shit show. I mean, it's indisputable that they're going to make these people look absolutely ridiculous. Yes,
I agree with all of that. I think that you're absolutely right about what Nunes' motives are. And Nunes, who is a extremely clever man. I mean, he was the first person on during Russiagate to really go on the attack. And I think he realizes that the best form of defense in this kind of situation is attack. It was he who basically exposed Spygate. Let's call it that. I mean, it was he who went out there and started to put all the pieces together, who exposed the Pfizer abuse, who exposed all these activities that all of these people were doing. Now, as I said, that's not to discount the role the very important role of some certain journalists like Sarah Carter, John Solomon, and the others. But Nunes played a pivotal role in all of this, and he's doing the same now. He's going on the attack, and he is right. Also, by embarrassing the Democrats into refusing Republican subpoena requests, he's highlighting the lack of due process in these proceedings, which makes it even more difficult to go forward with those proceedings. So I think you've got Nunes's calculations exactly right. I don't think actually Nunes is really making much secret of what his intentions are. Now, as for Pelosi, my own personal view about Pelosi is that she's certainly not stupid. She's an extremely wily and crafty politician. I think she was coming under intense pressure from people within the Democratic Party base, who were extremely angry with the fact that she wasn't pushing ahead with impeachment. It doesn't matter what the impeachment was going to be about. They just wanted Trump impeached. That was their agenda. So she was attempting to resist that. She was finding that her own position as Speaker was starting to come under some sort of threat. And then what happened is that wily Adam Schiff comes along and says to her, Nancy, I have a foolproof way. I've got this complaint from this whistleblower in my prop pocket. I've spoken to all sorts of people. I can prove absolutely wrong, inappropriate behavior by Donald Trump. We can get the impeachment going, and we will prove that Trump is indeed someone unfit to be president, and we might be able to peel away some of his support in the Senate. And so she gave him the green light. And then, of course, what she discovered is that Donald Trump, I think the Democrats' astonishment, published the transcript of the telephone call. And as we've seen, and as we've discussed on many occasions, the evidence from the so-called witnesses that Adam Schiff has been producing doesn't really amount to very much, because the two key witnesses, who are Bill Taylor, the US Chargé d'Affaires in Ukraine, and Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, who is this very obsessed American officer in Ukraine, they're both obviously very angry about the fact that there'd been a delay on military aid, but it seems that they were leaping to conclusions about the existence of a quid pro quo, which they didn't really know about. I mean, they sort of heard gossip, but it wasn't actually substantiated gossip. So I think Pelosi, who, as I said, I think is quite a wily person, understands that this thing is going badly wrong. And what Nunes is now doing is going to make her even further worried that it is going wrong. But having set the impeachment train going, I don't think she can stop it. How is she going to tell the American people, well, we're not going to impeach Donald Trump after all, even after we've spent weeks saying that there's this enormous, terrible thing that we're now investigating? Are we going to? There isn't an impeachment case. The Democratic Party base, the electorate, the Democratic Party base, the squad, and all those people, they'll go nuts if she does that. So she can't stop this thing. It's a train wreck, which you can see coming. It's a train wreck which I'm sure she can see coming. I don't see how it can be stopped now. And can I just also say something, which is I don't think she can prolong this thing much further. I think all the key evidence has already been given. And if the Democrats now start, slow motioning this thing, trying to call more and more witnesses who know less and less, then all that's going to happen is that people are going to get bored and angry with the process, and they're going to start complaining. I think this thing has to be wrapped up probably this year, certainly early next year. And then we're going to move, as you said, to the trial in the Senate, where all the pyrotechnics are going to begin. I don't think Nancy Pelosi suffers from Trump derangement syndrome, but she leads a party which does, and that is devouring her.
It's going to devour the party, because when this gets into the
Yeah.
Senate, Alexander, it's going to.
Well, it's going to be
I don't see how they can't tear all these people apart.
It's going to be the
Maybe
most
they
bizarre.
won't, because maybe they're all in it together. I don't know. I just can't see how they can't tear these people apart.
Well, they will. And to be very clear, there's some extremely tough people in the Senate who can ask very aggressive questions. And I would not also be surprised, by the way, if the Republican majority does what they did in the Kavanaugh case, which is bring in outside counsel to do some of the questioning. And that would be a lot more aggressive than the questioning we saw, the cross-examination we saw over the course of the Kavanaugh case. So we could very well see this whole thing becoming a trial, not of Trump, but of the Democrats.
Wouldn't it be better if Pelosi just dealt with her squad problem internally?
Yes. Well, yes.
Found a way to dismantle primary the squad people, or just kind of get them out of the way somehow.
Absolutely. Alex, when you're in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging. I mean, that's what she should do. She should stop digging. I mean, it's absolutely clear that this obsession with impeaching Donald Trump, which she knows is an obsession. She used, I think, a word, either that word or a word very like that, about Jerry Nadler. She said, just drop this obsession you have with impeaching Trump. If you should never follow obsessions through. And yes, the Democrats would have several weeks of disastrous headlines if they dropped the impeachment investigation now. And Nancy Pelosi herself would no doubt face a lot of heat. But at the end of the day, it would all die down, and we would move forward towards the actual presidential election in 2020. And, we see all sorts of people coming forward. We now see apparently Bloomberg is now thinking of doing a run. So, if that's what she should do. But I'm going to make a guess. I don't think she's going to do it. I don't think she's got the guts to do it, frankly. I think that the idea of taking on the squad and all these, fanatical people is just too much for her. I mean, I believe, she's quite an elderly lady. I think that she doesn't have the energy to fight these kind of battles in that way anymore. That's my impression.
She's got a squad problem. She doesn't have a Trump problem, Pelosi.
No.
She's got a squad problem. That squad problem has forced her into this massive Trump problem. And this is a problem, because even though things may look out of control at the moment with the impeachment inquiry.
Yes.
Completely out of control.
Yes.
Once it gets to the Senate, the proof is so tilted towards Trump and the Republicans, the evidence, the truth, everything about this. And Schiff's story is so flimsy, so dumb. I can't stress how dumb this Ukrainegate thing is. It's beyond dumb. A 5-year-old can tear this apart. Pelosi's going to get shredded when this goes to the Senate.
Yes. I completely agree. I mean, I by the way, don't agree with the view that some people have expressed that the Republican senators that there's going to be 20 Republican senators that are going to defect. Not a single Republican, not a single House Republican supported this impeachment inquiry. I think that the Republicans in the Senate are quite properly and rightly holding their fire. They're keeping their ammunition dry, because they know that the right place to start making noises is on the floor of the Senate itself. So I think we're going to see a massive bang there when this all comes forward. And I want to come back. You're absolutely right. There is no Ukrainegate case here. There is no evidence that Donald Trump did anything inappropriate or wrong in his dealings with the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians have themselves confirmed that they reopened their investigation into Burisma Holdings way back in, I think it was March 2019, long before Zelensky was even elected, and long before Trump spoke to him. And as for this military aid, not only is there no established proof of a connection between the stopping of that, or rather the pause of that military aid, and any pressure to start that investigation into Burisma Holdings, but of course the military aid was in fact provided anyway. So it really, the basic story doesn't add up. All you have to do is look at the timeline, look at the transcripts of the various calls, the transcript that's been published, and the transcript which is to come probably on Tuesday.
All right, Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much, guys. If you like this video, click on that subscribe button and click on the notifications bell to make sure you get notified when we push out a new video. And go to BitChute, guys. We post everything on BitChute. It's a great platform. Every video we have is on BitChute, and there is no fear of anything getting taken down on BitChute. We also have our own platform, duranvideo.com, that we're developing. It's in beta mode, but it is looking good, so we invite everybody to check that out as well. So bitchute.com and duranvideo.com.
Yeah.
You'll see all the stuff there. Also iTunes, SoundCloud. We have audio versions of all these videos on those platforms, so you'll never miss anything there. It's in audio format. The links are in the description box down below. And donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar, because your donations help us to publish and create these videos every day like we do. And yes, Alexander.
I just add Telegram also, that we can also find us on Telegram also.
Yes, we post all kinds of stuff on Telegram. We're going to be posting everything on Telegram, including discounts and coupons to Duran Shop, merchandise, and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Duran Shop, also go to Duran Shop and support us there
indeed,
as well.
Indeed. And you can find all these great things that we have there, these fantastic magic mugs that both Alex and I are drinking from as we speaking to you. There's Alex. This is mine. I'm drinking my excellent morning British breakfast tea. I'm doing it because I've got actually a pretty bad cold. I know my voice doesn't, I hope my voice doesn't sound too distorted, but it keeps me invigorated so I can do these sort of programs. It's 15 ounces. It's perfect porcelain. It's beautiful to hold. It's beautiful to drink from. It keeps the tea in a marvelous condition. And Alex has chosen all these great emblems on it. This is the one of the Russian Federation. You see, he's also got one there that he's been drinking from with the Alpha Force, which is Russia's elite special forces unit. So we've got mugs like these. We've also got beautiful polo shirts like the one I'm wearing, 100% cotton. It's got the Duran double-headed eagle there. We've also got amazing t-shirts, short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts. We've got hoodies, we've got hats, we've got stickers, we've got lots of great things. You can find them all on our shop, and Alex will tell you how to do it.
Just go to the duranshop.com. You will find a link in the description box down below. Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, take care.